The Bill of Rights defines protection under the law. Amendments 4 through 8 of the Bill of Rights guarantee the rights of protection under the law that a person had under English law. These rights are very important to anyone who ever gets into trouble with the police or is accused of committing a crime. These rights are also very important to prevent the government from arresting and punishing people without reasonable cause and without a fair process to determine guilt. The rights of protection under the laws are designed to ensure that people get justice, which has to do with being treated fairly and equally. The Fourth Amendment, search and seizure. The Fourth Amendment protects people from unnecessary searches and seizures of their property. Search means to look for. Seizure means to take away. So seizure of property means taking away property. During colonial times, the Americans hated how the British officials, without reason, could look anywhere they wanted for smuggled goods. The Fourth Amendment says the police must have a search warrant to search a person's house or property. A search warrant is a paper signed by a judge that allows the police to search someone's home or property. The Fourth Amendment also says that the police cannot take things from a person's house or property without a search warrant. A judge will issue a search warrant only after the police have shown some evidence that there is a probable cause to believe that they will find evidence of a crime. Probable cause means a good reason. Even when issued, the search warrant limits where the police can search because it must describe the places to be searched and the things to be seized. The Fourth Amendment provides protection against the police simply breaking down the door and looking around in someone's house, hoping to find some evidence of a crime. The Fifth Amendment, the right to remain silent. The Fifth Amendment guarantees several rights of protection under the law. One of the most famous is the right to remain silent about whether or not you committed a certain crime. The amendment says no person can be compelled or forced to testify against himself or herself in court. When people say, "I take the Fifth Amendment," they are using this right to remain silent. Today, this Fifth Amendment right to be silent has been extended so that whenever anyone is arrested, the police are required to tell the accused that he or she has the right to remain silent, and that what the person says to the police can and will be used against them in a court of law. This warning helps people to know their rights. The Fifth Amendment protection against double jeopardy. One of the other parts of the Fifth Amendment says that no person be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life or limb. This means that no person can be tried again for the same offense after they are tried once and declared not guilty. Protection against double jeopardy means that once a person is declared not guilty of a crime, the person cannot be put on trial for the same crime again. Without this right of protection under the law, the government could keep on trying a person over and over for the same thing. Serious crimes. Another of the Fifth Amendment rights of protection under the law has to do with how the government is allowed to accuse a person of having committed a crime. The government cannot accuse people of committing a serious crime, such as murder or government corruption, unless a grand jury agrees that there is enough evidence to make a trial reasonable. A grand jury is a group of ordinary people who listen to the evidence and determine whether there is enough reasonable evidence to make it worthwhile to conduct a trial. This rule does not apply to persons in the armed services. The Sixth Amendment, the right to get an attorney. The Sixth Amendment guarantees a number of important rights of protection under the law to a person who has been arrested and charged with a crime. One is the right to get an attorney, to defend the person against the criminal charges. Another word for attorney is lawyer. The help provided by an attorney is called counsel. Originally, the Sixth Amendment only applied to federal courts. In 1963, the Supreme Court ruled that the Sixth Amendment right to counsel applied to states as well as the federal government. The Supreme Court wrote, "Any person hauled into court who is too poor to hire a lawyer cannot be assured a fair trial unless counsel is provided for him." Today, this right to a lawyer has been extended to require the police to notify people when they are arrested that they have the right to an attorney. The police also have to tell persons being arrested that an attorney will be appointed for them if they cannot afford to hire one. The Sixth Amendment, right to a jury trial. The most important Sixth Amendment right of protection under the law is the right to a public jury trial. A jury is a group of 12 ordinary people who listen to the evidence in a trial and decide if the person is guilty or not guilty. Having a jury decide the case means that ordinary people will decide whether or not the accused is guilty. Here are some more rights guaranteed by the Sixth Amendment. People charged with crimes also have the right to a speedy trial, which means they shouldn't have to wait in jail for too long a time. As part of that jury trial, the Sixth Amendment guarantees that the person charged with the crimes must be told which laws were broken and shown the evidence the government has that the person broke those laws. If there are witnesses against an accused person, the accused has a right to confront the witness, to see and hear in person what the witnesses have to say. An accused person has the power to subpoena persons to testify in his favor. Subpoena means the accused can legally require certain people to come to the trial and be witnesses. As of these Sixth Amendment rights are important rights to the protection under the law, they are often used in law even today. The Seventh Amendment, right to a jury trial when suing. The Seventh Amendment has to do with the rights of protection under the law in civil cases rather than criminal cases. Civil cases are trials where one person is suing another person. Amendment 7 says that in civil cases, a person still has a right to a jury trial. The Eighth Amendment, no cruel and unusual punishments. The Eighth Amendment guarantees that the government cannot use cruel and unusual punishments. Cruel and unusual punishments cause great pain and are not commonly used on other people. Everyone must be given more or less the same kind of punishment for the same crime. In places that do not have this right, people are often tortured instead of just being locked up in prison. The Eighth Amendment also guarantees the right of protection under the law against bails or fines that are excessive or too large. Bail is money given to the court to guarantee the return of the accused person to court for trial. The Eighth Amendment states that the amount of bail should not be larger than is reasonable to make sure the person will show up again in court. Summary. The Bill of Rights names certain rights of protection under the law that people are guaranteed. The police must have a search warrant to search your house. You have the right to remain silent and not be forced to testify against yourself. You have the right to get an attorney. The government cannot use cruel and unusual punishment.